Jenny, thanks for doing this today. Good to
Yeah,
talk
thank
to you.
you.
I
Thank
guess
you. I know it's like, can you believe it's already the middle of May? My gosh.
it goes by quick. Uh, Wanted to start off asking you about Lisa's retirement and what happened at Iowa. I guess first of all, just what has Lisa meant to you, and just what does that mean for the Iowa basketball program?
Yeah, it's funny. I saw her about not even a week ago. We went back. There was a funeral of a longtime Drake person that we knew for a while, and so it was nice to be able to see her there. And I've known both her and Jan for a long time, and obviously I played for them. But I even grew up going to camps at Drake when she was there. So she has been pivotal in just really my playing, my coaching, philosophies, how she's, held herself to a really high standard, how she's made it about her players, how she's, works hard, she's blue collar, she's humble. Um, I'm sad to see her retire, to be honest. I thought she would go for a long time, but I couldn't be more excited for Jan. I've known Jan just as long, and this is awesome for her. And as an alum, I'm really proud that they were in a position that they could do that, because that's every coach's dream, is to be able to pass it on to somebody that's in the family. And I think it's pretty awesome to be able to have that. But the game lost a good one, but also gained another great one.
And then I want to ask you a follow up to that real quick. Obviously, what that program and what Caitlin did this year
Mhm.
elevated women's sports to an even different level than it had been on. Just how do you feel about just the state of not only this sport, women's college basketball, but women's sports period with what's going on this campus and just the national momentum right now.
It's really interesting because, I'm so entrenched in it. And, I've gotten to watch, Caitlin from when she was really little to be able to grow and, so you have that personal connection of being able to watch her elevate the game. You watch your alma mater go to national championships. You get to see that. And so you're really proud of that. You're watching Caitlin become a household name, not just for people that are, in women's basketball or, from the state of Iowa. I mean, she's really been able to elevate. I mean, look at what she's already doing from the WNBA perspective. And she hasn't even played in her first official game yet. I know it's coming, but it's pretty amazing what she's been able to do. And then it's also been amazing to be able to see those women that are playing with her in the WNBA right now talk so highly of her as she has come into a space. So that's the stuff that makes you proud. It's not just her ability, but it's the way that she carries herself. Um, and then you look at these amazing programs on our campus, right? In women's sports. I mean, look at what softball's doing. And it's funny because people, get all up in arms when they've lost a couple games, and it's like, what? I mean, they're amazing. None of us are worried. We all think they're going to just go and they're going to win because they're so um they're just incredible. They're incredible ambassadors. They're incredible people that happen to be really, really good at softball. I think Patty is another one that's extremely humble. You look at what KJ Kindler, has done in gymnastics. And again, that was what happened this year? But none of us think that. We know that, yeah, they're just going to do it again next year. And sometimes you have those moments and it happens, but those women are, you talk about Lisa, you talk about, obviously Patty and KJ, they're classy and they have elevated their sport. They haven't just been so tunnel visioned in terms of what they're doing on their any given day, but they don't even just, elevate their own sports at national levels, but they elevate all women and women's sports. And there are these strong, incredible people that have humility and grace and work ethic and the ability to be competitive and yet raise the level of the people around them. So I don't know how I got so lucky to be able to be around a lot of them, but I have. And those are the things that radiate. And that's, I think, to me, what's going to continue to elevate women's sports, period.
I really appreciate it, Jenny.
Thank you.
Hey, Jenny, great job. You continue to recruit well and you recruit better and better all the time at OU. Getting Reagan Beers, who, if we follow women's basketball, we've been following her for a long time, to come into your program is a great get. Talk about the recruiting effort to get her into your program and what this does for your team moving forward.
Well, one, you're going to love Reagan as a person, and she's just incredible to be able to watch our women interact with her when she came on the visit. That was really neat, to be able to see that. Reagan wasn't leaving necessarily just for a better opportunity, but obviously they had some different circumstances at Oregon State. And so she was, she made that decision to leave, but she also knew the kind of chemistry and culture that she was looking for. And I think, that's what's really neat, is that we were one of those programs that she wanted to talk to because of that. And so the women on our team knew that she's a need for us, obviously, with her interior play, but even more, she fits so well from a chemistry standpoint. She works her tail off, but also has fun with what she's doing. She wants to be part of this community. And so I'm excited for the people of Norman to be able to get to experience Reagan Beers too, because she will give so much to this community.
Next year, you get Beers and you get Liz Scott back. Everybody forgets about that. Liz is a really good player. And Skylar.
Nobody's forgetting.
Okay, well,
None of us are,
sometimes I have to remind people on my show. Sorry.
You might have to remind some, but trust me, none of our team has forgotten.
But all of a sudden your post play with Beatrice back and Alan, all of a sudden you got really and hey, when Skylar can jump in there too, all of a sudden your team's becoming a more rounded team.
I think so too. I think our depth is going to be really great in a year. I think, we're going to the SEC conference. There's already going to be so much change, and we've got to adapt and we've got to grow. And so we'll be ready to do that. I'm excited to get us together this summer, but I couldn't be more excited. And I say this every year, but I mean it every year. I just literally I couldn't be more excited to get this team together.
Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you.
Hey, Jenny, thanks for doing this. I was going to ask you about, when you win Coach of the Year for the Big 12 and you're up for finalist of Coach of the Year and you have the success that you've had early in your career, your name's going to obviously come up for maybe other jobs and being a potential candidate and mentioned in those situations. I'm wondering, what is it about Oklahoma that makes you want to stay here, continue to build what you have and have the confidence that you guys are going to have the success that this program has had previously?
I have never worried about where other people think you should go. I think when I got to Drake, I thought I was going to be at Drake forever. And that was something that I thought we could build that team and that program. And obviously, as time went on and sometimes things change a little, I knew that it was time to go. But I didn't know I could ever find a place that I loved as much as I loved Drake. And I found that in Oklahoma. And it's kind of like when you have your first child, you don't think you could ever love another child as much as you could possibly love that child. And then you have another one, right? The third one breaks you. So I know that you just go to two places and you stay. But honestly, I love it here. I love our administration is so supportive. They allow us to grow. They allow us to fall down. I know, obviously, you got to see that in this season. You got to see us really understand growth and process. And I love the people here. I love what we can do here. I love, even through the chaotic kind of scary time of nobody knows what the future is going to hold for college athletics. We're in this really pivotal time, but it's messy and it's not clear. And it's, we don't know. In 10 years, we're going to know what we should have done during this time, but where you can literally trust in your leadership, in your president, in your athletic director. I think, you know, you don't get that in places. You don't get really high integrity with the people. You don't get passionate fan bases. You don't get a brand of, you know, Oklahoma athletics is a big deal. And so I think, that's what we love. I love that the coaches support. There's abundance here. Nobody hurts anybody to get what they need. Everybody is doing what they can to be as successful as they can, but we want softball to win. I mean, look at what baseball did, how amazing. And we want them to, you know, get back to the World Series and, you know, tennis, golf. I mean, we just have these great coaches, these great people, and these great programs. So to me, it's less about what makes this place so great, and it's why would you ever leave? And I know we've had situations, but I've loved it and I continue to love it.
Kind of off topic too on this note, I know these next few months are going to be big in terms of the future of Lloyd Noble and what maybe arena you guys might be playing in well into the future. Just how important is that, and how much are you, I guess, voicing your opinion on all of those discussions?
I probably voice my opinion too much. I don't know if I've ever been asked to voice it because I just do voluntarily, but no, I feel like it's really important, obviously, for us to continue to evolve, especially as we head into the, you know, the SEC. And it's going to be important. I trust that the right decisions are going to be made, whether or not we, you know, really enhance in terms of the entertainment district, or if we renovate Lloyd Noble. I don't know what decision's going to be made. And I think there's obviously a lot that's going to be put into play for us, for those decisions to be made. But I trust that the people are going to make the right decisions in terms of what and how we're voting. And also just our leadership in the way that we're looking at this, because this is a joint effort. And I think from you know, sometimes we think a little bit too much in terms of the university and Norman, but we're in this together. You know, I mean, when people look on a football Saturday, they're looking at Norman. They're not just looking at the university, and vice versa. And so we've got to continue to be able to do that from a basketball standpoint, from a softball standpoint. I mean, look at what our fans do. Look at how beautiful this city is. It needs to continue to grow. It will continue to grow. I mean, look at what Oklahoma City's doing right now. I mean, look at the Thunder. How amazing. And so we need to be part of that too. And so I think that's where whatever decisions made, we're going to get behind. We trust in our leadership. And at the same time, we know that we've got to continue to progress forward.
Thanks, Jennie.
Thank you.
Jennie, I'm old enough to remember when Coach Bluder was stopping Jackie Stiles when she was coaching at Drake, and Jackie was at SMS. So that's how old I am. Lisa Bluder's been a good coach for a lot of years. Wanted to ask you have you ever coached sisters before on the same roster?
I have coached twins.
Okay.
Never sisters in terms of what we get to do next year with Skylar and obviously Zaya, but Sky assures me she'll have Zaya in line. So that's I'm sure that will be, you know, a really easy transition for Zaya. Lucky her.
And just another off the wall question. Did you send letters to Caitlin when you were at Drake? Just on a whim?
Oh, you know, well, compliance kind of gets in the way of some things, but I do know a lot of her family, so we're able to, you know, to stay connected from a standpoint. But I'm so proud of her, and you know, I offered her when she was in 7th grade, so she sat in my office, and you know, everybody asked me, "Oh, how'd you even know that she was going to be good?" And I said, "Obviously, I was right." So it doesn't matter how you know, but yeah, what a cool career.
Wanted to ask you, in the age of the transfer portal, you guys haven't had a lot of hits. I mean, or you haven't taken a lot of hits. And how fortunate have you been, and why has that been? You guys have just been really, really been able to be rock steady in not taking hits. And what's the reasoning of that? Is it just what you've been able to build on terms of this roster and keeping kids? What have you been able to build at Oklahoma to where you've been able to do that?
Well, I think again, it's also, I think it's a huge part of with Maddie Taylor and Anna, to be honest, and them deciding to stay and to do this and to do something that they'd never done on court, I don't think we'll ever fully understand the legacy that they left in terms of staying when it's hard and wanting to do something together. I think in the, what it looks like from an outside perspective of the portal is we don't always understand all circumstances of why people make decisions that they make. And they're not always bad decisions or good decisions. Sometimes it's just a decision. But I think that foundation is huge for them to have been able to stay and help build it. But then I also think that you have to get this mix of people that love Oklahoma. And I think we've had that too. I think people have loved, not just the women's basketball program, but they come for a bigger reason and then they want to stay. And that I'm really proud of. I'm really proud of that locker room that continues to believe in each other. As much as you want to say, oh, it's coach and it's, I don't know if it is. I mean, I'm not trying to underplay what we do as coaches because obviously it's an important, job or I wouldn't be doing it. But I do really feel like the women in that locker room have such an investment in each other and it goes deeper than I think we really realize. And that's something that we need to continue to do. And it's not just, oh, you got to recruit your players in the off season. We really have to invest in each other. And I think that we're doing that. Are we there yet? No. Do we have to get better? Absolutely. Do we need to continue to grow? Do we need to continue to go forward? 100%. But I think that, we're all willing to do it together.
You mentioned Liz Scott a little while ago. Is she 100% now?
Not quite, but
Mhm.
she's so close. She's so close. And what I mean by not 100% is she hasn't necessarily been cleared for contact and things like that yet. So what she's been able to do, she's really evolved and she's ahead of schedule and she's, working on her game and she's able to shoot and she's able to do a lot of skill work. But she hasn't been cleared to go full contact yet.
Jennie, thanks. Like everyone said, thanks for doing this today.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Hey, Jenny, can I ask one more question?
Absolutely.
I saw where a couple of your girls are on a mission trip. And so what are some of your girls doing here? They get 3 weeks off, and I know they're coming back in the summer. And what is the summer program for you guys? Are you having camps this year and things like that?
Yep. So Liz Scott, Raina Scott, and Nevaeh Tot are all doing a study abroad in South Africa. And that's a program that we have through university. And then Soul Mission has joined them to add a mission element to it. So there's a lot of different athletes that are going right now. And so it's a really cool opportunity. I'm excited for them to get back. This is the first time that we've had that since I've been here, that we've done that. So I'm excited to hear they just left. So they'll be gone for a couple weeks and then they'll come back. And yes, and then everybody comes this summer and we get about, 7 to 8 weeks to be able to work out with our players and get them on campus and really get some individual skill work, and they get in the weight room and then they get to really bond as a team as well. And we'll do some team workouts as well. And we do have camps, and we have little kid camps. We have a high school camp. We have some team camps that we're doing. In fact, this year I'm so excited because we've had quite a few people reach out for camp that we've had to open another week. And so I don't know what the numbers will be like in that second week, but we want to make sure that it's a great camp. We want kids to just continue to fall in love with this game. And I know I'm biased because my kids are that age and they love camp and they love to go to camps. And so you get to see these, and our players are, they get to be really involved. And so they get to know these campers on an intimate level, where they see them at the store and or they get to come to the games or they see them at the mall. And it's just really cool. I love camp, and we're excited about being able to add another week.
Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you.
And Jenny, I wanted to ask you about, we asked you about one Oregon State edition, wanted to ask you about the other one. Jonas, what he brings to this staff. I know obviously you're pretty familiar with him already your time at
Yeah.
Colorado, but just
Yeah.
what stands out to you about him and what made that the right fit?
Well, it's interesting because both were, both Reagan and Jonas were very separate, even though it feels like they were kind of together. But it was just kind of ironic to be awesome, awesome irony, but definitely ironic. Jonas and I worked together at Colorado and have stayed in touch for a number of years. And he's really good. Like he has a great basketball mind. And yet he also does a great job recruiting. He's very experienced. He'll be a head coach someday. I don't know how long we'll get to have him here, but we will take him as long as he's willing. But he is excited about the potential of our team as well. So that was a huge part for him. Excited to go into the SEC. That was a huge reason that he wanted to come here as well. But he's got great energy. He's really good on court. People are going to really like him here. And he has, both national and international recruiting ties, which will be really good for us too, to continue to elevate our recruiting reach.